Hey, there we
hit
are.
the wrong button on the Steam Deck. Can you all forgive me?
No.
This time.
This time. Thank you. Thank you ever so much for
This
your
time.
gracious
This time.
forgiveness, darling. So, welcome to Checkpoint, the series where I don't burp into the mic, where
We're off to a great start so far.
we discuss and discern the current events and
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Of the most recent episode of Check Please. Today we are discussing Check Please episode 56, The Emperor. I would love to welcome our members today. I am Keni, your fortunate host. Foaly as my co-host, hungry for fleshed out answers.
Hello, Om Nom, hello.
Xeno, our swamp witch, monger. Beardy, our beloved daddy DM.
Hello.
And Screwy, our rock hard holy man.
Oh.
What's
So-
that?
Wow.
I'm sorry, I just enjoyed that from
What?
Screwy.
What are you doing?
I have no idea what he's
Everything
doing,
I
but
want
it's
to.
glorious.
One day your kids can go back and watch all these. I hope you understand that. Okay.
It's gonna be great.
And I hope they do, and they just die a little on and a little bit on each time they do.
Oh, they're just gonna be like, man, Dad was
That
so
was
cool.
lame.
Man.
We're at
Isn't
two
that-
different stuff.
Yeah, exactly. He'd be like, man, he was so cool. I wish he was here with us.
Oh, Kyle!
Wow. Oh shit.
Ouch. I was
Okay.
gonna say, whoever
Yikes.
the lead woman, the lead actor in Mamma Mia, the ABBA
Meryl Streep?
film, Meryl Streep, has been on record saying that the only reason she did that film was to embarrass her children. So
You know,
That's
embarrass
just mean.
a parent embarrassing their kids is it's part of the reason one becomes a parent,
Most
isn't
of
it?
those actors were definitely blazed and or blackout drunk during most of that shooting, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, you kind of
Honestly,
have to
though-
be. It's such good fun.
I'm right. I would do it for a lower pay, for the exact same reason, in her position.
I mean, you'd have to. You're not Meryl Streep.
I mean, yeah, I think they would pay you less than Meryl Streep. Yeah.
Ouch.
No one is Meryl
Hey.
Streep.
That is true. I'm
Period.
not
That is
I-
incorrect.
There is
one-
There is one person
Excuse
who
me.
is Meryl Streep.
I could be Miranda Priestley.
Who?
Miranda Priestley.
Who?
Devil Wears Prada.
What if Screwy is actually Meryl Streep, and Meryl Streep is just that
Just
damn
that
good
fucking
that we've
good.
never, we've
Like,
never
she pulls
guessed.
off this mask, and it's just like, oh, shit.
Why haven't you been getting us more followers?
She really
You should have
can
been,
play
like-
anyone.
You should have been, like, boosting this more, bitch. You have the money.
We could get celebrities on here.
Anyway,
Starting out with the episode 56, The Emperor. We start out with Petravian and Kurla having a little chat in the beginning of the episode. Still in the evening before we get our delicious new puzzle from Levette.
Technically morning.
yes.
I
Technically
don't
morning.
want to do this.
There was some back and forth on whether or not it counted as the morning or the evening. I don't know if you've
So
gone. if you
Kurla
haven't
comes
gone to
into my
bed.
bedroom.
Yes,
I
Kurla comes
do.
into Petravian's bedroom.
Oh.
I was impressed by your big hard tree.
Thanks. I designed it myself.
It's large and green.
Morning wood.
I've been meaning to trim it back, but I like the foliage.
I wonder if Petravian's penis is still a penis.
Anyway,
Ooh.
I know. He.
thank
No,
goodness
it's
you
made of
didn't
amber now.
stick that in the ground and have grass grow into that. But yes, Petravian and Kurla had a conversation where Kurla was kind of explaining where they were coming from earlier when they were explaining that they didn't really trust Petravian, or they didn't want to say it, but they felt that they actually needed to say it and kind of explain it. And Petravian takes this on board and decides the best thing to do is to continue this chat while walking towards the ley lines.
I'm very surprised. I did not expect Kurla to say the reason I don't trust you is because you don't trust yourself. I expected a completely different reason, to
Now,
be
what,
honest.
what were you
Ooh,
expecting?
tell me what you expected.
I don't know. I was gonna say because like your decision changes on a whim more, but I feel like because you don't trust yourself is more of an abstract reason.
Well, I mean, his decisions change on a whim because he doesn't trust himself.
That I don't know. I do not presume what people feel about themselves, so I was surprised.
From Curler's perspective, I mean, that's one of the ways that they would look at it.
I would look at it as Petravian doesn't trust himself because he doesn't believe, not that he doesn't believe in his own convictions, it's that his convictions can be kind of not manipulated, but they can change. They have the ability to change, so there's always that possibility of there's that variable that you look at him and like, I mean, look at Grem.
I can't. He's not here.
He's not here.
Oh.
He's gone, Screwy.
He's
You
gone.
have to let him go.
My lord.
Oh, I can't.
But I mean, it makes a certain amount of sense for Petravian to doubt his convictions when his convictions have been so wrong in the past. I mean, he had these convictions about his military service, right? And then suddenly he's ordered to kill all these people. So he's had that courage of his convictions, and then later discovered that his convictions are terribly misguided. So do you think that leads into his distrust of himself? I mean, do you think Curler's assessment was an accurate one?
Oh yeah, no, this is dead on. Like it's solid. It's a solid assessment of him. He's still finding his rock. He's finding his center. So I trust you, but like, man, you're too flaky. I can't like fully commit to that trust in there.
Which, I guess it was a good thing for Petravian to hear, since it sounded, at least from the conversation that ensued with the gardener, that this had been percolating in Petravian's head for a little while, and percolating.
Oh, it's been so long since I heard that word.
But we get to the gardens. Petravian decides to root himself. We had the first of many nat ones that hit
It
last
was
night.
a rough night for dice.
It really was. It was a cursed night for dice. It was
Which-
wild.
I'd like to bring up something else with that.
Yeah.
Screwy, is there a reason why you buried your hand?
Because I wasn't allowed to plant anything.
Why didn't you just put your hand on the ground?
Because I was putting my hand in the ground.
In my head, I was wondering if you were trying to get Beardy to give you your hammer back.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
Oh no!
That
I
was
like,
my
oh,
assumption on the
time
entire
to
thing.
go. I don't know
No,
how
no,
many
no.
days it's been. It's probably 40 by now, right?
Nope.
No?
Been
Okay.
keeping count.
No, I think I have a note on the calendar.
That would have been
I don't
pretty
think it's
cool.
been 40 yet.
I was ready for it. I was like, oh, hammer, let's go.
I'm still anticipating the Marvel holding out the hand and the hammer flying into it from all the way across the damn continent, but maybe we'll get sued
Part
for
of me
that.
wants it to show
Overdone.
up at like a critical moment. Like it just like at one of those kind of
All hope is lost.
part of me really wants it, but it would be very cool.
You just get
That's for the book though.
You just get a message from Reduvi saying, "I don't need your hammer back. I got a new one." So it's really nice.
She is the new champion.
Oh wow, that is cold.
Yeah. Someone decided to make a child the bridge.
Like this this hammer, it turned into like a tree, and I took it.
It's mine now. I don't need your gross one.
Aw, Reduvi liked that hammer
Children are fickle
Go get it back.
and violent.
and violent. They don't
Screwy.
understand.
Yeah.
What did you think of of Travian's discussion with the gardener? Once you
Yeah.
did plant your hand, and once you did manage to make that connection on the second try.
Just as an aside, I love that it was so low and then not quite a nat 20, but it's just like, whew, on both ends of the spectrum. So it made the connection. Yeah, it was. I don't know what I really was going into this blind, so I really was eager to see the answer. Like, and as Petravian is bummed, but more so the lines of, okay, So what I thought was the way it was is not the way it was, and need to shift to what it needs to be. What with this new information, what he needs to do.
So he misunderstood what the job of the bridge was.
Yes.
Okay.
So what does he believe the job of the bridge is now?
Yeah, what does he believe now?
Believes that it's his job to put it trying to phrase it right in my head, to make the hive not make the hive, but to have the hive be part of the world rather than just by itself, to have it work with, not just unto itself.
I mean, isn't the point of the hive already to convert everyone into the hive?
Yeah, that's not what.
Isn't that kind of the same
and
thing?
that's what Petravian's trying to avoid.
Why?
He's gonna.
Why are you putting up these walls?
Converting everyone is you want to be the example. You don't. Okay, this is me now as a player. I'm trying to figure out how to word it for Petravian. But me as a player, converting everybody into this, and then basically turning into the Kintal Empire. That's a little bit much, buddy boy. We want to be the example. If they want to join, great. We'd love to have you.
I also think it's funny that Vera's like, I would never accept the nobles, though. They suck.
But yeah,
Prejudice
Petravian
still there, I
is.
assume.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, that's why Vera doesn't want to bow to them.
Well, to anyone though, that's literally
Yeah,
part of
that's
their.
true.
The entire point of the religion is that no one is greater than anyone else. We're all in this to work together, and that's the only way that we can make a utopia.
Together, and
Exactly.
we know
Because-
hand
because
in
And
hand.
unfortunate, and see now what Petravian sees with. Okay, that's a little further down the line, but he sees the what the Kintal Empire is, and sees how the hive could become that, and he doesn't like that. He doesn't like that for the hive. He doesn't want it to be this not oppressive, but I don't even know how to describe it. How is it it's everybody, as I said, they're content. So how do I get what's in here to here?
Definitely
The
the goal.
individuality
that.
is suppressed to the point where the collective is all and the individual is none. There's no balance between the two.
So it's there's the Kintal collective, the Borg collective kind of deal, or you got the utopia of everybody working for the betterment, utilizing their own personal skills that they want to pursue rather than this is what has been set before you, and you are happy to do it. Well, happy, you are content to do it, but it may or may not be what you really want to do.
I have a question.
Yes.
What makes you guys think that?
For what now?
What makes you guys think that there's no like individual freedom or consent within
Because
the Kintal
Mellifera
system?
told me.
I
You
don't
literally
think
told me
that.
last
I
night.
was-
You planted the seed. I didn't even think about it until you said it.
A lot of planting of seeds around here.
Like every person you've spoken to in the Kintal Empire, like, have any of them said that they were like forced to do a thing or
We
like,
haven't
put on
really
a certain
talked to
path?
a lot of people,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
Yeah, no, we try.
Exactly.
We try not to, because then we get
I
arrested.
don't necessarily think that. I was trying to phrase it for Screwy because I thought I knew where Screwy was going with that and was trying to help you out.
I was
Aw, I
curious, like, where that was coming from.
Literally, my entire thing came from literally you saying, "Oh, do you think these people don't have free will?" I was like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that. What's up?"
Right, but that's not Mellifera saying these people have no free will.
Yeah, but
right?
now I have the question in my head.
Well, there you go. So
I just
Maybe-
like playing devil's advocate as Riz, because
Mhm.
that's the true neutral way.
yeah, of course.
Just be like,
Somebody's-
someone's got to question it, right?
Exactly.
Like, is it perfect? I'm not sure. I'm just putting out the question into the air.
Well, I
Do
mean,
I believe
and
that? I don't know.
And I'm not positing that it's perfect either. I'm just saying that, it's a system that appears to be working, at least from your guys' perspective.
Yeah.
But it feels wrong.
Why is that,
Why
Petrivia?
does it feel wrong?
It feels wrong because
Is it because you've never been given a perfect life?
It's okay. I'm gonna reference something in the Matrix. When they described the first iterations of the Matrix, he said we made it perfect, and people couldn't accept that. They can't accept it being perfect. It just
Well.
feels wrong. It feels there's something off. It doesn't feel right.
Maybe
There's
to your own
no-
personal aspect, but do these people who live here think it's wrong?
Well, that's the thing. Petravian sees that in the way he perceives existence is that we have the ability to choose, and with that ability to choose begets chaos, but not like the negative aspect of chaos, but just the randomness of everything. And that when things are perfectly structured and ordered and everything, there's got to be something sinister about it.
But that's our perspective coming in as outsiders. Do we have the right to impart our own value systems and our own perspectives on this society? Because from our perspective, it's somehow oppressive. I mean, it's an interesting moral quandary, especially when it's not clear that there is anything particularly wrong. It's just very, very different from the way we've come to examine things. And of course,
feel
the
like
flip
we're-
side is that they think that our world is awful.
I feel like we're colonists at this point. This is
It is,
icky.
yeah, a little bit
And
colonial.
again,
Oh.
I just want to point out that you used the word oppressive, and I'm just curious what is giving you the idea that this place is oppressive.
The
I
fact
guess-
that if you step out of line, you get
that's
you
true.
cause time you cause the rice shipment to be a couple minutes late. You get 30 days in jail. That seems
That's
really
that's
fucking
pretty
harsh.
excessive.
I understand that things need to be on time, but Jesus, but man, that feels a little oppressive to me. Sent to the gulag.
I think oppressive not in terms of there being a nasty and like a negative amoral agenda behind it, but because we are coming from a place that is so much more chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that there is order, far greater order to things, comes across as
Mm-hmm.
stifling. Maybe that's a better word.
And it's like it's sort of a way to look at it. Like, you can say chaos, which has a negative connotation. I would say freedom is one way to look at it, right? And then on the other side, you have law instead of the opposite of chaos, which you can look at it as like authority or authoritarianism, right?
Structure.
So structure effectively. So in a structured system, like in the Kinto Empire, there is a level of social responsibility that's expected from everyone, where it's like, you fill your role in society, you do your, you fulfill your purpose, and society functions, and everyone is happy and content, and things move forward.
You've never been hungry a single day in your life.
No one has ever been hungry for an instant in their lives because everything works so well.
Except when those fuckers from the west came
Except when those
through
fuckers
and
from the west show up and they delay a
screwed up
race
the grain
shipment.
My
shipment.
Their
tummy
damn horse
grumbled
that
for the
won't move.
first time in my life. It was
Yeah,
Shame
and
on us.
children had to
Didn't-
ask their parents, "Mommy, Daddy, what is this feeling? I don't
They didn't know.
understand."
The parents didn't know.
And the parents are like, "We're
I've
so
never
sorry."
experienced this in my entire life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah, and then
Are we dying?
the punishment thereof feels incredibly disproportionate for someone to feel. Oh, I'm sorry. Here, have a fucking Snickers.
Wow.
I mean, the idea is that you're through your actions, you have inconvenienced a large number of people. Very little. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you are paying for the individual indiscretions to each of those people.
Yeah.
So it compounds over the citizenry.
I think it's interesting because it seems more like you're upset that you had a worse upbringing in that instance. Because, like, these guys, as far as most of their understanding is probably they live a perfect life. They're like, oh, boo-hoo, slap a band-aid on it, you're fine. And it's like,
Exactly.
but you don't understand. Like, they've never had to live with that grief. You may have, and so your experience is toughen up, Buttercup, but theirs is not, and you're coming from a very rude standpoint, I feel like, to be like, fuck you. Toughen up, bitch.
But also,
this is
fuck you.
an
Toughen up.
impossible. Yeah.
Get the sense that that's where Screw was coming from with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much.
And then, like, imagine
I recognize it's an asshole way to be.
That
to be
it-
them.
Okay, that is where you were coming from with that. Well, screw you then. Bad
but
screw.
imagine that,
No,
like,
I agree. I agree with Screwy on
how
this.
hard is a 34-day stint in a Kintal jail anyway?
We don't know.
It could have been super cushy, honestly.
Yeah,
There's
I
still-
didn't
there's
want to
still
get out of
time,
that. I
though.
wanted a vacation after all this.
Well, how often
probably.
How often do they need to utilize the jail? Do they? Oh shoot, we
The
shoot.
issue was
we don't.
that
We don't normally have this many people in jail.
be like, oh, we're gonna have to, I don't know, put more beds in.
We've inconvenienced them even more now because they will have spent all this time like rehabbing their penitentiary and getting all getting all the
We
linens
are terrible,
washed.
terrible people.
And now
coming
we're not
into
even
this
gonna
free
use it?
country.
So rude of us.
I updated the map. This is a side point. I updated the map because I wanted to change something. The initial map listed the West as the Forbidden Lands.
I saw that.
That's actually not accurate. So I wanted to change that because that's not what they call them. Because those lands aren't forbidden. People are allowed to leave the Kintal Empire. Like Jiro was in the West, right? So I don't want to like make you guys think that they're trapped there or something. Like they're allowed to go if they want to. They have no reason to because the place they live is really nice. And so I retitled the area this is called the Barbarous West.
I like that better, honestly.
Really,
Yeah.
the wall is basically that fence in between your childhood home and the weird neighbor that's scary. You've never seen them, but they have a bunch of mouse traps, and it's really creepy.
You kind of think they might be a murderer, but
They
you have
might
no
be.
proof, and then one day you sneak into their house, and then you're gone forever. Anyways.
I had that neighbor. There's literally like a bunch of mouse traps and stuff, and we're like, oh, this person's really scary. Then one day when we were at their property, they came out and like, hey, how you doing? And this is a really nice person. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh shit, they're
Shit's up.
chill.
I mean,
They're not scary.
yeah, it would be. I would view that as that you have the neighbor, but that neighbor has another fence on their side of the property line, which is way taller, has barbed wire on the top, and says "keep out."
I will be fascinated to see if our current perceptions of Kintal hold up with whatever we learn when we get to the mountain with the birthplace of Wayism and where we learn more about harmony, and we might get a better sense of whether or not Kintal is in harmony with the way it functions and with the way its people look upon the world and live in the world. But anyway, we're slightly off topic at this point in
That's
the
true.
Yeah,
conversation.
swinging back around
Yeah.
to answer one of your questions. Very, very, very frustrated at that nat 1. Missed out on that
my God.
perception check, and
We got way off track.
and I think I know what that perception check would have told me, and I'm concerned.
Well, this was
What do you
later
think it
on
was?
when we...
Okay,
What do you think it was?
I feel okay.
Conceal, don't feel.
Me as a player, self-doubt. The gardener looking at me like, oh no, I fucked up. This isn't the one. And me as a player, that is what's eating me up on the entire episode.
Oh, that's
That nat 1
tragic.
and not knowing, and it's
You got what, 2 nat ones, like right at the beginning,
Yeah, like they were coming left and right. this
which
session.
was funny because I just edited the Halloween special. I was not going to go over it because it's not released yet, but we had some bad rolls in that one. So I just got off of us
Right.
just doing nat 1 after nat 1, and then coming back to here to Scurry just rolling like dog shit.
We all were.
It was
I mean,
wonderful.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough dice night.
I don't know. I was rolling great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Shut the fuck up, you whore.
Did I even roll anything?
am I somewhere in the ballpark there, Chief?
I mean, I'm not going to confirm nor deny any of those speculative platforms of you, sir. So
That
You'll have to wait and
hurts.
see.
No.
There was one roll that you botched as a perception check about your hand, or no, I think it was the next.
Oh, yeah.
morning. I had
I
you
said
make a perception
shit.
check the following morning, and you botched that one pretty hard.
Wood
Yes.
arm, wood arm, wood
Well-
arm.
We'll get there.
Wait, what? Wood
up?
arm?
You're
what
not
are you
gonna
talking
be
about?
a person by the end of this campaign.
It's the ship of Theseus,
What?
only, a
Yeah.
person.
If you replace all the parts of Petravian, is it still Petravian?
When you're half wood
Anyway,
and half amber,
Yeah, amber, wood, and stone.
Last
which is a really
Wow.
good band name.
Yeah, right.
last thoughts on the conversation with the gardener before we move on, because
Is that the only thing that Travian wanted to ask was about the?
Got like ascendance.
Yeah, the gardener was
and-
like, "Is that all you needed?" And it was
Like I thought
like,
there was
Well,
gonna be
okay.
more questions.
Yeah.
It was the god ascendance. Am I? Thank you. And am I on the right path? And what I got from, I know that they said I didn't do that much, but to Petravian, the conversation I think went as well as he thought it would.
I'm surprised you didn't ask like, what is my job?
What are my benefits? Do I
Do I
get
get
vacation
insurance?
time?
What's your lunch policy?
And do I have to clock out?
Yeah, is it just
How do-
like paid, or do I clock out? Is it deducted automatically? What do we do?
Part of me wanted to, but I didn't think it was a. Learning to know what one's purpose, part of it is figuring that out on your own.
yeah, I wouldn't have
And-
expected a straight answer in your position if you'd asked what is my job, because I agree, it feels like it's something that Petravian has to. You know that you're supposed to be the bridge, but you're having to figure out what that means.
Exactly. And if I just get the answer handed to me, there's no satisfaction, I guess.
I mean, there's
And
still the job to do.
Right. And then
That's all I'm
he
saying.
believes Petravian
Satisfaction of
believes.
doing it well.
Yep. Petravian thinks he has the goal is help the hive be the best it can be.
And
By helping by making but and now I feel like I fucked up again.
how so?
That I didn't take the opportunity to ask what's my job.
Oh,
You can,
I
you,
think
you can talk
Petravian's.
to the gardener whenever you want.
It's
Maybe.
true.
Who knows?
Maybe. Oh.
I don't know how
I
it
feel like
works.
Petravian's making progress, and I also feel like it's a good thing that
You're a much more positive person than the rest of us, though.
that the lessons that Petravian is learning and that he drew from the gardener conversation is also kind of what Kurla was trying to impart to him, and it's even better that he got there on his own, I think. That he needs to trust himself more and also call Vera out more.
So what was the outcome that Kurla was looking for when they originally went talk to Petravian?
I mean, exactly what Petravian came to the conclusion of at the end, which was that he needs to be thinking more about the needs of the hive versus Vera's needs, and he needs to trust his own gut, and he needs to be the one to question Vera when Vera is doing stuff on behalf of the hive that Petravian doesn't necessarily agree with. That he needs to be, his own. That he needs to stand up for himself, really, and
Mhm.
find his own place in the hive and not consider himself secondary. And that seemed like where Petravian landed at the end of that conversation with the gardener. Screw it, you can correct me if I'm wrong there.
Oh yeah, that's pretty much how it was. That's pretty much what he got. You said it exactly. That's where he landed after the conversation.
And that's what Kurla wanted to point out as being the conditions by which Kurla would really trust him. Because, I mean, Kurla wants to trust Petravian, and does to a certain degree, but they don't trust that I mean, they trust that, Petravian would have their back in a fight, for instance, but they don't trust that Petravian would stand up if Vera lost control and was going to do something that Petravian wouldn't necessarily agree with, but Petravian would go along with it because it's Vera. That's the point where the trust fails, and that's the point that Kurla wanted to make, and Petravian got there by himself, speaking with the gardener, which is awesome. I think Kurla was quite proud of Petravian in that moment. And then we held hands.
And then we held hands and walked in onto something.
You tried to fuck with me, but I was ready to fuck with you guys.
We tried
some fuckery was
happening. The trolling got completely... Yeah.
I was already messaging Beardy while you guys were talking. I was like, do you want to fuck with them?
Wow.
Your troll was superior. It was a plus
I know.
10 troll to our plus 5 or whatever.
I'm one of the best trolls I know.
We walk in hand, and see Jiro hand in belt.
Yeah.
So to speak.
What?
Just one hand. They were in the process of figuring it out.
I still enjoy my joke. I'm gonna give myself.
Which one was that?
But that was the one where I was saying the safe word.
Right.
But then you said it was only one hand.
Correct.
That's why you give him keys or something to drop.
It was a
It'll make
belt.
noise. Yeah, I know. I'm saying that if he needs to non-verbally safe word, you give him something to drop that'll make a noise.
But he had a hand free.
Fair enough. That wasn't immediately clear. I thought both of his hands were
Yeah.
tied, so...
I also thought
Okay.
it was both of the hands.
so
That is funnier if it's both the hands.
If I said hands, I apologize. I meant hand.
then
It's
that's a different story. If he's not totally bound, then cool.
The
That's
whole
okay.
point was my statement was he can get out because he literally has a hand free.
I was envisioning it as both hands tied up, and that's a
Also,
different
that,
story.
He's literally the best ninja.
He always,
He could also just he could just say the safe word, right?
That was Xeno's joke
that was
earlier.
the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That his hands are tied, so he can't give a safe word.
Well, yeah, but he could just speak it. You found that out this episode.
Yeah, and that I got yelled at for not knowing it.
I connected dots. I'm sorry.
I'm just kind of still amused that this fucking bondage thing from the cuffs that got mentioned before Petravian and Kurla walked out is still... It's the joke that keeps on giving.
I mean, you guys gave the idea to the two of them, and they were just like, "Do you want to see what happens?"
Hey, you're likely to die tomorrow. We've already had the boring sex. Let's have the kinky ass sex.
You think they've only had boring sex? You've only walked in on them once.
Fair point.
Oh boy.
I stand correct.
We should walk in on them more often and find out. Get more
You
Who
information.
guys are
hasn't walked in on
assholes.
them, actually? Because Kurla has twice, Petravian has
Levette.
once, Vera has
Levette
once.
has
the vet
never.
needs to.
Levette.
I want Archie to walk in on them, think that
Archie
there's
has no
violence
emotions.
happening,
That's true.
and be like,
He wouldn't
What?
care.
I know. I'm saying, to assume that there's violence going on, to think that they're fighting and go and find Levette. Riz and Jiro are trying to kill each other. No? He would no, never mind.
I think at this point, Archie would just be like, he would recognize it as mating, but he would have literally no comment. He would just be like,
This is
yeah,
thing.
that's a thing.
Fair enough.
Go back into
so
a
it's just
ball.
a machine receiving text.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah.
yep, okay. Information has been received.
Mhm.
Oh, dear.
But
Well,
Riz being told that Petravian had to talk with the gardener, they kind of get up, put their cloak on, and are like, all right, let's just have a quick chat about that, because he usually likes talking to me about religion. I'll be right back, Jiro. So they go to Petravian's room to have this talk. Unfortunately, I just realized Scree's gone. So,
We could skip to the
Let-
that
yeah, we can,
question
we can,
first.
we can jump
we'll
back
just
to that.
squib.
Archie part.
So, meanwhile, Levette's working on this puzzle,
That's right.
and Grem, not realizing this was gonna be real sad, was like, "Yeah, I want Archie scenes," and I'm like, "Oh, buddy, I already know.
I feel like instead Graham could just be like, okay, I'm gonna just be upset and depressed, and just as a default instead of listening to the Archie scene, you can just be like, no, you can skip it. I'll I'll just rack in the emotion either way.
Yeah, like I already
Yeah.
have depression. Who needs
I was-
more?
I was going to say, if I were in Graham's position, it was like you can either have a really sad, awful Archie scene or like a punch to the face. I would have taken the punch to the face because the Archie scene hit harder. It's so
I
sad.
take the Archie scene. My face is my moneymaker.
I feel genuinely. I really hope that of anyone in the group, my hope is that Archie at least has a good ending. Like, as long as Archie, I've said this all along, as long as Archie comes out of this okay, I'll be satisfied. The rest of us can all die in horrible circumstances, but Archie, the goodest boy, has to be okay at the end of this.
That's gonna come down to some decisions that the players have to make. That's not in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
in
Womp
the
womp
hands
womp.
Of the players and the dice, as it should be, right?
True.
Mostly the players on that. I don't think there's much dice involved in that one. That's just a decision that needs to be made.
I hope that Graham can save Archie to the extent that Archie can still be saved. But I believe in Graham and Levette on this.
There'll be some decisions that need to be made.
But the whole idea that Archie thinks that Levette is building his replacement and that Archie has no longer any emotional capacity for that to be painful to them is so wrenching.
We're just
I mean,
lucky
yeah.
he can talk.
He's just like, yeah, this makes sense. You've become a better engineer since we started this journey. You should make a newer version of me.
I still cringe just every time I hear Master, because that's just... No. Archie, why?
He was so close to being a real boy.
He'll get back there, damn it.
This is
He
the
has to
year
be
of
okay.
Pinocchio, so
It is the year of Pinocchio. Why are there so many Pinocchio movies coming out? What the fuck is happening?
is it?
It is public domain.
Oh.
It's such
Oh,
an
yeah.
old fucking
Yeah,
story.
no, it's an ancient story. I mean,
That's true.
You
Yeah.
think Disney keeps just that shit? It's just the visuals they have like copyright on, right?
Yeah, which even then they are losing a lot of. Like they just lost Winnie the Pooh this year,
Mhm.
A version of Winnie the
which
Pooh.
is
at
great.
least.
Yeah, the
OG
original
Winnie the
version,
Pooh, yeah.
OG Winnie the Pooh.
You
is
can't
now-
have him with a red T-shirt on, supposedly.
Peter Pan's
fine.
got to be, like...
I love they're already making Winnie the Pooh horror movies.
Looks so garbage.
It's so bad looking.
What,
I don't
Blood
care.
and Honey? Is that what it's
It
called?
was Blood,
Blood
and Honey.
Yeah.
I always assumed that would be a subtitle for one of our episodes, just in terms of Fira
Could
and
be.
the Hive.
Hey,
very
yeah.
well could still be.
It just depends on what happens. I already knew the name of this episode, thankfully. So
What's the name of this one?
The Emperor.
The Emperor,
Ah, the tarot
Also,
card.
it's a tarot card.
the child, the Emperor.
Don't you mean the tarot card?
Yeah, it's pronounced Tarot, Kenny. God.
It's like carrot. It's like Dragon Ball
Yeah.
Z.
Well, we'll come back to Petravian and Riz having their little conversation. I'm very curious to learn what Riz was thinking when they learned that Petravian had a conversation with the gardener, and
well,
whether Riz worried that the gardener had told Petravian about their last conversation with Riz.
no.
But we'll get to that.
Okay. I don't know why you'd think Riz would assume the worst.
Does Riz not?
I mean, they usually have insight on what the worst would be.
Fair point. So the next morning, Levette finishes her puzzle, which is in the form of an Archie ball.
It's a transformer.
Archivold
Remember the
Archie
Oreo?
ball.
That's the generic sound version.
Presents it to
And that
everyone's
doesn't
soul.
sound anything like it.
Yeah. That way you can't get copyright struck.
Architecture.
And again, the dice decide to fuck with us because the only one who was able to solve the damn thing
Instantly.
was Riz within 5 seconds. with
Because
their
Riz
massive
cheated.
Rubik's
I
Cube. Because they
didn't,
cheated.
though.
They looked into the future, they saw all the pathways, and they totally cheated.
I mean, unless we're suggesting that Riz accidentally does that all the time, then fuck it.
I'm glad that Grim found that funny. That Vera was so conceited.
Just,
That
this
she just
goddamn
assumed
bitch.
that
She
Riz
can't
cheated.
handle
Yeah.
anyone.
Because Vera got the lowest result of anyone's attempt.
Yeah, who came closest? Because I think I got a 6. Petravian got...
Oh yeah, everyone else's attempts were pathetically bad. But then, like, Riz adjusted was a 24, which on a stat check is a fucking wildly good result.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, notably, Riz's intelligence is insanely high. Thank you, Headband of Intelligence.
yeah. So, you get a plus 6 to your check, you roll an 18. Pretty fucking good result. So, yeah,
The dice-
you just knocked that one right out.
The dice taketh and the dice giveth away, and in this instance, the dice were, again, cruel, but they cruel in a fantastic way, in that everyone else completely failing and Riz being the only one. That was the
Look.
best outcome for comedy's sake.
I feel impressive in the fact that I was able to figure it out so fast in comparison to the Emperor, who may or may not have gone easy on us because of that. But we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yes. But,
I was happy with the result. I was very confident rolling that dice, though. I was just like, yeah, I'll probably get this. Wasn't worried.
well, armed with this cool ball, we go to enter the palace and find out that they have a strict no weapons policy, and that we have to leave our weapons in our Vardo. And everyone was completely cool with this. It was no problem. There was no argument. We all just left our weapons and continued. Oh wait, no, hold on. That's not how it went down at all.
It's not a weapon, it's a religious artifact.
In either case, Petravian tells Vera to leave the staff.
Which Vera says, why?
Yeah, and he doesn't answer.
He doesn't really answer, he's just like, leave it. Leave it.
Like a dog?
Like a dog.
Like a dog. Yeah.
Which is generally how Petravian usually talks to Vera, is kind of like a dog.
It goes back to reinforce Petravian's just general lack of respect for Vera and Vera's beliefs or
This
wishes.
is one of the few times that Riz actually got to see that treatment, though. And so they spoke up. They're like, why are you talking to her that way? Why?
Because all Vera was asking for was a reason, like, why?
Yeah,
this
like
is
just
a staff.
reason.
It is interesting because I think it's one of the points that Curler hasn't emphasized or didn't emphasize with Petravian earlier, which is, stand up to Vera was their point, but not in the way that you sometimes do.
Well,
I think
I
Curler
was really
is more like
worried
you
when
need
you
to.
said that. Actually, I was like, "Oh no, this is gonna get worse."
Well, yeah, Curler's trying to empower Petravian to stand up to Vera, but do so with, reason, because they're the only one who can potentially reason with Vera, not, order Vera around, because Vera doesn't respond well to that even from Petravian.
Mhm.
But that is a distinction that was not made by Curler, because they didn't necessarily think they had to, so it's not a distinction that Petravian has quite picked up on yet. Sorry, what was that, Beardy?
Sorry, I was just musing to myself. I think there's only 2 people alive that can order around a Vera.
Or one being Mellifera, the other being...
Who do you think?
Who are your options, Beardy?
Who else would be able to order around Vera, or at least be able to make Vera do something?
Reduvi.
Yeah. Those are my guesses.
Yeah.
Well, Soul could
Mellifera and
probably
Reduvi.
get Vera to do something. They're besties.
They are besties. We tell each other
Soul's gone.
everything.
Soul's gone forever.
But eventually, and I mean, refresh my memory on this. What did Petravian actually sort of provide a reason for Vera to leave the Scythe? What
No.
was Vera's reason?
It was
Vera just
Vera puts up with that kind of stuff because Vera loves her siblings.
It's so fucking sad.
So that's the reason why she takes that kind of abuse from
It's
Petravian.
literally toxic and abusive. Sorry, it's just a lot of his habits really bother me sometimes.
I will say it's adding up though. That's
Are you gonna burst one day?
at some point.
Yeah.
I think Vera's
I'm
going to
excited.
lose it a bit.
I'm excited.
well, maybe that's what they both need in their relationship for it to
I-
become more healthy.
I've had a dialogue that I have been ready to use for literally over like 30 or 20 sessions.
Because
ago.
Xeno can see it faster than Vera.
And then, you have that blow up argument that Travian gets kicked out of the hive. Oh, that'd be great.
There is definitely something I want to bring up once Screwy gets back, if Screwy gets back.
If he does.
Rip Screwy.
Here.
Does Vera have like
This
the authority
this channel
to
doesn't have the
shit?
sound alerts that I can make a rip sound, can it?
No, I
Oh.
don't have it for this
What
one.
was that?
Does Vera have the authority to shitcan someone from the hive?
No, that is the hive itself to decide. That is everyone's decision.
It's got to be a
Okay.
vote sort of thing.
Yeah,
Does it have
'cause
to be
Vera's
unanimous
not, like,
vote?
the leader, you know?
More like just the voice.
Yeah.
Is it
The
a
mouth.
unanimous vote? Is it a majority vote?
I'd say it'd be.
What if Mellifera overturned the vote?
I would say majority, yeah.
I would say majority, but I feel like if Mellifera said anything, obviously people would still be like, "Oh, Mellifera said that, so I guess that's probably
That
what we
would
should
sway
do."
their opinion, probably. Because
Yeah,
humans aren't
that's-
perfect.
No.
Because,
Well, people.
as I've said many times,
Some of them try to be, though.
as I've said many times, the idea is that everyone is equal to Melly, but these people are mortals.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, oh, well, this is a god though. Like obviously there's going to be some form of separation still, even if you have this so-called rule.
Ooh,
All
can I bring up-
Melliferans are equal, but some are more equal than others.
Exactly.
Can I bring up something really, really quick?
Yeah, sure.
So I think it's very interesting that Petravian's upset about Mellifera not being able to be part of the pantheon of gods, and I'm just like over here like I don't think Vera cares about that.
Oh, and I would say I don't know if Screwy's gonna
Bring it up.
have Petravian bring that up, so I don't want to say what Vera would say because I want to save that obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But no, that does it matter?
Does it matter?
If your lesser godlike being is still powerful enough to do what it needs to do, what does it matter?
Yeah.
You can still become exceedingly powerful through worship,
Mhm.
which is the same thing I think we were talking about for soul. Is that what you're insinuating? It's like soul doesn't need to become a god.
They just need to heal.
They need power.
Yeah.
To,
They need faith to heal.
yeah.
I can appreciate why that was an important point for Petravian to be clear on, since in his role as the bridge, he needs to be able to, he's, very rigid in his thinking, very protean in his thinking and putting things into boxes. He needs to be able, and Screw can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but he needs to be able to clarify that relationship in order to figure out the best way to try and build a bridge between the two worlds. And if
What
there
are the
is
two worlds?
Eden and Mellifera in
Okay.
this case, trying to bridge
It's-
those two camps more, he needs to be able to put them in context to each other. And with Mellifera being about equality, I would assume that in Petravian's mind, getting them on a more equal footing is a good way to help start that bridge. But knowing that that's not an option will now push him in other directions. This is me spitballing. Screwy can correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, but what were you going
If
to
he
say?
ever comes
Yeah,
back.
if he ever comes back.
But
He is
he's
dead.
gone.
Comes back.
We just have like a ghost here. We're just like, oh, he died, but we respectfully leave this.
Yeah,
Can we get
put-
like a
screen up.
Can we get a sticker for the overlay and just put it there?
Yeah, can we put Screwy emotes in the chat, everybody?
Okay.
Rip
Alright.
Screwy. We love you, Screwy, and we love you, Graham. Thank you for
There we go.
everything.
Much
We
better.
miss you.
There, it's like he's here with us.
There he is.
All
He's with us
700 of
now.
him.
There. Some of them are in the right square.
Ah!
He looks so scared. It's probably because he's
So
dead.
What point were you going to make there,
Me?
Kenny, about equality between Mellifera and Eden, and why it's important or not important that Mellifera can't become a higher form of deity?
I don't think it's that important because one, obviously I don't think that's a very big deal to Eden. So I don't know. And Vera already thinks the best of Mellifera, obviously. Maybe it's lowering Eden to Mellifera in that aspect for Petravian to get Vera to relate to it. I don't know. I don't have the solution. I'm not the bridge, but I think Soul would be really good at it.
It does say something interesting about Petravian being still so much in that Eden camp, which makes sense given that he's followed Eden for far longer than he's followed Mellifera and is brought up far more in the Eden faith than in the Melliferan faith. But that idea that Mellifera can only be connected with Eden if Mellifera is in a higher place in the celestial hierarchy, versus, yes, even the idea that Eden could be, maybe Eden needs to come down versus Mellifera coming, which is not going to happen because Eden is Eden, but
But not like Literally, I mean, like, how we think about it.
Yeah,
How we
the
talk
rigidity of the thinking there, and the still placing Eden on a higher level in their life versus really following both from an equal position. It says something about Petravian and his thinking and how it's evolved and how far it still has to go for him to fulfill his function.
I guess I'll bring it up because I don't know if Skrill will come back or not. So it definitely, from what has happened in the episode, it feels as if a missionary has come into this other religion to change it to theirs, in a way. There's a bunch of stuff that is very core and required in the Hive that Petravian has clearly shown he just doesn't agree with, and he wants it to change. For example, like the bowing aspect, which is the whole point is to show that no one is above you. No one has power above you. And that is literally the base of the Maleferan religion, is that it is to basically go against nature itself and say, just because you have power doesn't mean you have any ownership of us.
Yeah.
It's fascinating you phrasing it that way, to go against nature itself. So that kind of implies that Maliferanism in its current form can never be reconciled with the faith of Eden. There is no way of bridging the two unless one or the other or both is willing to give up some ground and meet in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So there is conflict between the two different It seems like Vera and Petravian are both staking out different visions for the future of the Maleferan faith. Here's a question for you, Xeno.
Yes.
Do you think that in its current form, in its very rigid positions on those core aspects of the faith, without those changing or adapting, can the Hive survive, or is the Hive not just going in the same direction it always has, which is towards conflict with other faiths?
I think it's built up more symbiosis with other faiths. It's already views Gigerian as a boon, as a deity that they can trust. They already believe that the light is potentially something that can function with them. So I think that it can still definitely thrive. I think it would just stay more niche than other religions still. I feel like it would be something that more people who are downtrodden, those who are sick, those who feel ostracized from society would go to and would more relate to.
So it's not that it can't adapt to the times, and it's not that it can't build bridges with other faiths. It's just that in this instance, or at least insofar as the faith of Eden is represented by Petravian, it's not as easy for it to happen.
Probably.
Interesting. So maybe Petravian's the one who has to change more in order to build that bridge.
I don't know. Like I said, I think that, especially with the Pendra stuff, that the Hive is already more on a better path. Just from what Vera has learned already. But I don't know.
So, Petravian's presence has, pardon me, has been a net boon for the Hive, or to the detriment of the Hive, do you think? I mean, what, in terms of the influence that Petravian has exhibited on the Hive and its direction,
I guess...
would you say that's been positive for the Hive's survival or negative?
I guess all I can say is I don't know what Petravian has done yet, really. We haven't even had the conversation with like Corona or the Edenites, really. Like, the first thing that Petravian has done was only like 1 or 2 sessions ago, which was trying to get Vera to talk to Corona. Am I missing anything else that Petravian has done for the Hive?
I don't think so.
I don't think anything else has happened.
I mean, the military training in the 5 years was perhaps useful.
He wasn't part of the Hive.
Fair point. God,
He's
it
only
always
been
comes
there
back
for
to
like
that, doesn't
a
it?
couple months.
Also, if anything, that probably, I don't know if that helps the Hive Because that is the
Might make them more
sec-
negative.
That's the second group faction of the Hive, which is the siblings of the Lesser,
the assassins.
which are the people who are basically the guards, the soldiers, assassins of the Hive.
Is giving them military access a good thing?
I mean, if it helps them survive.
Exactly, it's definitely important.
Well, to them it's important. I'm just
Yes.
saying.
Also, the
Complicated.
training of assassins is also important, so that it's not. It's important to have the distinction between the Melliferians and the Sisters of the Lesser. That way, you can have a break between the two in case one gets caught. In a way,
Right, plausible deniability.
Yes,
Oh, it wasn't
literally.
us, it was just these mercenaries who live with us.
Yeah, that we train and they bear our symbology.
Oh, they wouldn't bear the same symbology. But
I wonder if
but there's
any
would
of
be
the authorities would buy that.
who knows?
But that's just a Melliferian uniform with the patches removed.
No, they're not with us, not at all. Anyway, so the long and short of this is that eventually Vera, perhaps just to placate Petravian and not actually swayed by any of his arguments, such that there were, decides to leave her scythe, in the Vardo. We all leave our weapons, all wondering if Beardy is going to have us attacked or not.
Not all of us.
Not all of us.
Don't assume what I thought.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't know. Is there not?
I wasn't worried one bit. I was like, oh, this is going to have terrible repercussions if we don't leave our weapons. We have been warned. I will leave my weapon.
So, okay, you took it as a warning to make sure we leave our weapons, not a potential sign that,
I
oh
trust
shit, the
Beardy.
DM's having a... Okay. I don't view it as a matter of distrust. It's just, we have to leave our weapons. That's fascinating. This could go badly or really well.
Most of us can do magic, so I'm like, literally, we're fine. We are weapons in ourselves, so like, leaving our objects really isn't that big of a deal. Like, maybe for Petravian, but he still can cast spells.
We've trained our bodies as instruments of death.
So,
I
I
mean, we
didn't think
kinda
it was a
have.
super big deal. I was like, we're really not in danger. We're literally some of the most dangerous people on this world.
We're
Well,
up there, yeah.
we get into the palace, and we meet the Emperor.
He's so nice.
He was so nice.
He was so nice. I
Ah.
really liked him. He was super chill. As soon as Beardy was describing him, I did have some theories that he was probably going to be just a guy or nothing. There were several theories, but that he went with the he's just a guy thing, I was like, yes, I was right. Partially out of the many theories I had. But I was really excited that he was just really chill. I was really sad that Riz was gone for the talk about the Quicksilver, because I kind of did want them to drink the Quicksilver, actually.
You wanted Riz to?
Yeah,
Oh shit. That'd
they
be
don't know
fun.
their capabilities.
Yeah.
I was tempted to, just because Gerla can heal so well, but I also didn't want to poke the bear there. That would have potentially ended poorly for me. I don't have another character role.
Yeah, also, we did learn that the Emperor was basically modified by an alchemist.
That's true. I really liked that, and I'm like, I wonder if his books still exist.
So that you can burn them?
Oh, sorry. I guess, like, from my standpoint, I went into Moo's mindset because
Oh, gotcha.
they want information.
Yeah, if I remember, it's Xing Shi. Is that right? That's what I have in my notes. The alchemist.
Zing.
Yeah.
Zing.
Zhang Shi, I think is what I said.
Zhang?
I think. I don't have the notes open on my side, but I believe it was Zhang Shi.
I remember
Could
a
you-
Z noise.
Yeah.
Could you please throw that name in the wiki on the wiki channel at some point so I can add that to the wiki correctly this time?
I will have to double check the spelling first before I do.
And I will triple check the spelling so I don't fuck it up
So
again.
I actually based that character and the way he became immortal on.
Wait,
Oh, go ahead.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
Have you read the Expanse books?
No.
Fuck, my theory's wrong. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
Where did you pull that idea from?
History, of course.
Is it Newton? Or what?
So the first actual emperor of China,
Okay.
the OG guy who pulled China together as a nation, as he was getting older, became terrified of death, as most people tend to, especially people who have reached the pinnacles of power. And he told his advisors and his viziers and his magicians and everybody that worked for him, he's like, find me a way to live forever. So what they did is they went around and they searched for the secret to eternal life. And meanwhile, his closest friends and doctors were thinking of ways to keep him young. And they prescribed two treatments. They prescribed two treatments to him. One of them was to fuck every day.
Okay, nice.
Sounds healthy.
Awesome.
I agree.
It's like it'll keep him young if he has sex with a person every morning. And then the other one was
Good waking up.
mercury.
So
Lots
they were
of
half.
mercury.
They were half right then. They got it half right. That's not bad.
So they would bake mercury into little bread balls, and have him eat them.
Bake?
Well, yeah, because if you just drink liquid mercury,
Yeah.
it'll just go through your body. Like it doesn't actually like break. It doesn't bond to anything in your body, and it won't actually mess with you. Now, kids at home, don't drink mercury. It's a very dense liquid. It is heavy, and it's very possible that it'll get trapped in parts of your body because it doesn't move around easily because it's very dense, it's very heavy. It's a very, very dangerous liquid for a lot of reasons.
Peeing that out would hurt.
Oh.
I think you poop it out, but yeah, because it wouldn't get absorbed. Never mind. So it basically should, in most situations, pass through your body without harming you, or at least without killing you. But if you chemically alter it or bind it to stuff and then consume it, then it's a completely different story. So in his case, it very quickly drove him insane.
Nice.
So he became completely addled, completely unhinged, and by the end of his life, he was at this point an old, doddering, crazy man who was still obsessed with living forever and still terrified of death, and was convinced by his court that the secret to immortality was on an island just off the coast of China, but it was being defended by giant fish.
Oh.
And he declared war on the giant fish. And
Wonderful.
I hope this exists in real life, actually.
he
It's the Southeast,
eventually.
though.
Oh, you mean when you say in real life?
Sorry, I mean in Adrian.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was telling you like the historical context for this.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real life thing. But
I
thank
know,
you for
sorry.
thank you for saying for keeping Adrian as real life.
Remember,
for you.
D&D supersedes real life, so.
That
Keni, it
means
does.
so much to me. You have no idea. So yeah, he dies, and his tomb, which I believe has some really interesting features in it, in that his like actual sarcophagus, coffin, whatever you want to call the actual thing that's holding his body, is in the center of this giant scale replica of the map of China. It's this giant underground space that they built, this huge tomb complex. And in this grand room, there is a thing that represents all of China, this giant map they built. And they built rivers in it, and the rivers flow with mercury.
That's fucking metal as fuck.
That is
Yeah.
indeed metal.
Literally, yes.
So in his coffin, his tomb, like on that map, is actually located where his capital was. So they put him.
I was literally going to say there better be like flowing mercury so that someone in the future can tomb raid that shit and be like, oh my god, this is a video game.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's one of the coolest tombs I've ever heard of, so that's that dude, and I wanted to base the character off of that character historically, but then also give him the personality of a history professor that I had in college.
Oh.
And then also name
So
him
fucking
after,
wholesome.
and also name him after the professor.
Oh,
But you never asked his name, so it's fine.
It's just the
It
Emperor.
doesn't matter.
What
Would
was
you
his
mind giving
name?
it to us? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there is a name on the wiki. Is the name correct, or do I need to edit that out? Because that's from like really early versions of your notes, I
Oh.
think.
What is it?
Emperor Liu is the name on the wiki.
Is it Liu?
Yes,
Yeah, Liu.
Liu. Okay.
Yeah, so
That's his name.
what I have in my notes here is that changed him slightly, and Quicksilver keeps things moving for him, detoxifying the soul.
Yeah.
Which
It's good for you.
another note for anyone watching: if something says detoxify, it's bullshit. So fuck
Yes.
off.
Truth.
99%, it's bullshit. If you have a product that says detoxify on it, throw it the fuck out.
Yeah. Throw it out. It's garbage.
It's
trash.
pseudoscience.
It is
I'm
pseudoscience garbage. Don't do it.
Really glad to learn all of that, though, Beardy. Thank you, because there is a plot in the Expanse books that deals with an emperor who is being modified to live forever for pretty much the same reason, because he wants to be able to oversee his empire, and he needs that hundreds and thousands of years of perspective in order to do it. So,
Is it biological tampering, cybernetic tampering, digitizing?
Alchemical?
biological tampering.
So what?
Biological tampering using
Oh,
alien
okay.
technology.
Gotcha. So giving him like just the right amount of like telomerase and shit to keep his cells dividing.
Among other things, yes.
Because I
Cool.
still
That's
love
fun.
technology.
You like those books, but anyway, sorry, what was that, Xeno?
No, I was just singing from Napoleon Dynamite. That's all.
Okay.
I love
So
you so much.
the as this is all going on, as there's Quicksilver and tea being consumed, and I think actually as Jiro and the Emperor go off to speak in private, Petra talks to Vera about the Hive and goals for the Hive. What did you want to say about that, Xeno? Since,
We'd have to
Jiro's
ask
still
Yuri
off?
to be here to talk about that, to be honest.
Okay, we can touch on that next time then. Perhaps we can revisit some of this.
But
Let's.
I will say, though, that the Emperor did mention that it definitely wasn't a peaceful transition to make this like utopia. He literally said it was
Yeah.
part unification, part the sword.
Yeah. Part diplomacy and part the sword.
And I keep on saying this is very similar to the Hive's beliefs, so it's fun in that aspect. It's like, oh, this is just what we plan to do. Cool. It's good to know that's going to work.
Yeah, exactly. And he said that like if the West ever gets its shit together, he'll take the wall down.
I don't think the West is gonna get his shit together.
No, like I feel like at best case scenario, the Hive would be niche.
But
Like I said.
I love the idea that Petravian's like, we need to pull this wall down and make Kintao like the West. It's like, that's
It was fucked. It was very
that's
fucked
a
up.
bold
Very
opinion.
colonist of him.
very bold opinion. It's like, I see this place and it's different and it functions perfectly. I hate it.
It was very presumptuous. I didn't like the statement in itself. I was like, this is just a different place. Why are we thinking of changing them? What the fuck?
Whereas I think Kurla's question there was not so much about like tearing down the wall or trying to make it more like the West, so much as is there ever a possibility of us being on friendlier terms, which I think is very much Kurla right now, learning about the value of connection with people still and having connected to Jiro a little bit.
For an answer to that, I will say only this cryptic response, and that is that the actions of the characters in these campaigns will have ongoing repercussions in the setting.
Repercussions. Why did you use that word? Fuck you.
Because all we do is fuck things up.
It's true. We aren't good people.
I'm saying that your actions will echo through the setting. So if things go a certain way, you might see a more open Kintao society. You might see it open up to the West a bit more, if you give them a reason to. Or you might see it close off even further and be more violent toward the west.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's not fuck this one up any worse than
No,
we usually
sorry,
do.
I was thinking of
Snake Eyes.
joining Snake Eyes again, because we haven't recorded in a long time. And I was like, where's one of my characters going right now? Oh no. Oh no.
Ruh-roh.
Well, we are, as a party, directed towards a mountain in the north of the Qintao Empire in Jintao, or am I misremembering? It's in the steppe
Jintao is
region.
the central province.
Beg pardon. so
You're
it's
heading to, I believe it's
Bai?
called
Baitao?
Baitao, I believe.
Okay, so just over the river in
Baitao?
the steppe northernmost portion, where
Yes.
we're going to learn about harmony and the source of Wayism, the historical
Yeah,
region
the
where Wayism
birthplace,
emerged.
the historical birthplace of Wayism is in the mountains. That's sort of between Jintao and Baitao, and it's a place called Mount Tianshan.
So we head out and we do absolutely nothing else, and we don't ask for the life of Jiro, and Jiro just offers him. No, okay, that's not how things went down. Because we get this direction, but Jiro and the Emperor also go off to have a private chat, because Jiro can in fact chat. It's just that he doesn't, for reasons still unexplained.
I don't know if it's that he doesn't, it's just, I don't know. I have a theory on it about how he cannot.
Is it a game theory?
Thanks for watching.
No, fuck you guys. I was thinking more like, because there are specific orders he had set in place originally, which is like, oh, you can't let people in or else you have to kill yourself and shit like that. Like, we don't know how many things he has on him, which I think is kind of an interesting like parallel to Riz having all those curses on them, right? Except Riz's is probably a little worse, though some of those curses do actually have boons to them. Like, an example is being seen differently by every person used to help Riz just get around easily in every world. It's been a lot harder with people being around me.
I'm wondering if. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking about
No.
a future question. I think.
Oh, okay. But it's very interesting. So it's never that, like, I assumed he was deaf or mute. I was like, the possibility is he is mute, but there's also a possibility that he has an order not to speak. Like, that just might be a thing set up for him. So when he came out, like, holding his throat, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he can talk then. Cool. But
And
it
the fact that he could only speak with the Emperor is...
makes sense to me.
Does Riz take offense to that?
Not at
At all?
all.
Okay.
I don't know why they would.
Okay, good. I'm just checking.
I mean, to be fair, at least Riz can actually communicate with Jiro through sign language.
Yeah, like, it's
unlike
not a big
everyone
deal.
else.
Well, that's because I chose to put a skill point in linguistics just to talk to
Oh,
him.
it wouldn't make sense for Vera to learn.
I know.
Sign language like
Fuck
that.
Vera.
Well, I mean,
I
actually, there is a way that I would flavor it. It's the same way. So, first of all, Vera, I have knowing Taoism, whatever we have for the name, Cantonese, who knows? But she knows that, and I had given her that linguistics before we had gotten the honey to give us the universal translator, and my reasoning was that once we got there, I would have Vera have a one of the souls, one of the bees from the hive that would have known the language, and it would have shared its memories with her, and that's how she would learn. That's how I was going to have the linguistic make sense, because obviously Vera wouldn't be able to learn a language quickly, or ever practically.
Whereas I had done more or less the same thing. I had picked out Qintao as one of the languages that Kurla knew at the very, very beginning of the campaign, not realizing that Qintao was quite as isolated and that it would make less sense in character. But then Kurla has always had a lot of languages. So the way I flavored it, it's just them being able to pick it up, the basics, relatively quickly, as just something that they're gifted at. Same with the sign language. I put a point into linguistics for them to be able to communicate in that, but have again just been trying to flavor it as well. They're able to pick up the basics to make themselves understood, and they pay attention to these things. But
I will say
they're still not going to drink the damn Kool-Aid. So
I like this is for like basic D&D. I like the insinuation that thieves' cant is a form of sign language. I think it's cool.
well, that conversation takes place, but we don't immediately find out what was discussed or what terms were come to, or whether or not Jiro is still under condition to kill himself.
I was, my guts were like still swarming all over the place. It was awful, and I was like, Beardy's like, "Do you feel better now?" Like in a private message, and I was like, "How? I literally don't know what they talked about."
Yeah, how would I feel better? Jiro's alive.
Yeah.
For now, I thought for sure it was just like, "Oh, you should like."
See this to the end, and then kill
Yeah,
yourself.
and then you kill yourself.
Then KYS. Yeah, KYS.
Alright.
Well, still in this veil of uncertainty, we continue our message to the north. And I beg your pardon. Continue our journey to the north, and Levette receives a message from Siva mentioning that the shit has hit the fan.
Right, Siva. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm just glad she's still alive.
Oh, I knew she was alive.
Yeah,
She's
I
a
mean,
bomb-ass bitch.
I feel like
Cockroach. She'll
she
be
is a
you know,
bomb-ass bitch, but I feel like it's
Shot
an
at the
honor
ball.
system for Beardy to tell me for Soul's sake, because they would feel the string leaving, you know? So I guess like I always kind of have this confidence of knowing people are alive for the most part, but there was still this worry. I was like, damn, like what if Beardy's gonna tell me later?
So what? So based on that, you think that I would tell you if any of Soul's love interests died, even though you're playing Riz?
No, I don't think you'd tell me during the game. I think you'd just tell me in passing and be like, hey, this happened, by the way.
Maybe. We'll see.
We'll see.
Alec's dead now.
Mm.
Nothing of value was lost.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
That is hard for me to take because as Keni, he was probably one of my favorite partners. I was
teasing.
a simp for that, man.
I am teasing. This is Curler's perspective. I as a player, as a listener, I totally shipped you guys.
Curless perspective. You've never fucking...
No, Carlos met
Oh, right.
Alec.
No, they did
Bubble.
not get along.
Bubble
Dirty
Man.
Sassenach bastard who kept appearing
was so
with thunder and
nice.
lightning.
He
Yeah.
changed it to Bubbles just for you.
Yeah, which was incredibly patronizing.
Accommodating.
Patronizing. Although they did have a
Curla's
nice
never
moment.
fucking happy. Jesus fucking Christ.
That's what it comes down to. Is Curlis is never going to be happy.
Jesus.
They actually no, they kind of were on better terms by the
Yeah.
end of that episode.
By the end, they didn't like Curla didn't just outright hate him.
No, they were giggling a little bit. They had bonded over a shared nasty sense of humor. But anyway, I preferred Alec to grow. Give me that much.
Damn. Which is
Wow.
interesting because I know Grem does not like Alec. I don't think Xeno liked Alec either. You were mad about it?
I think he's useful.
I know Screwy preferred him over Grow. He did not like Grow whatsoever. Shocker, Screwy didn't like Grow after being Marcus and being like...
How many times are you reusing
I
this
think
line?
it's the funniest shit. I can't
Poor
Say it
not
again.
bring
Screwy's
it
never
up.
gonna
Say
live
it
this
again.
down.
Let's hear it again.
God damn.
Like,
You two will never have what we have.
here's the thing: is that Screwy's going to die, and then you're going to find his tombstone, and you're
Right.
going to put that on as the epitaph. You're going to overwrite whatever
Yeah.
sweet sentiment is on there.
Yeah, we're gonna buff it out.
It's gonna
Chisel
say-
that on.
It fits, right? We gotta chisel it on, right?
That you
Oh,
and Grow will
God.
never have what we had.
That's
Had,
really
have.
tragic.
Have.
Amazing. Amazing. And I
Yep.
don't even know where he was coming
That
from
poor
back
boy.
then.
I
Such a
distrusted Grow because of a complete misunderstanding that emerged from when you were first describing Grow entering the story, when you were telling me about it when you were first playing
Well,
him.
yeah,
And I
I
thought,
mean,
okay, he's a stalker then. Okay.
He was
Shit.
a
So I
terrible character
distrusted him
originally
yeah.
in design.
Yeah.
If Levette
because that
hadn't
was-
have fucking shot him, I'm pretty sure he would have kept being a terrible person.
Well, I mean, a lot of that came from Soul's, I would say, misunderstanding of the situation.
Very much so.
And it very much colored Grow in a way that was not good.
I mean, Soul
But
wasn't okay when they left their home.
mhm.
They started doing fucking drugs, for God's sakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
So,
they weren't okay in a good mental space that they had been their entire life. They had a perfect childhood, as far as they're concerned.
yeah.
And then suddenly the whole world just crashed on them, it felt like. And it's a very simple, silly reason that that all happened.
hmm
Like, sure, their dad wasn't around, but when he was around, it was like the greatest blessing on the world for them. Sorry, Solicity. They got told stories about the world, and everything was fine until they learned that their father might be cheating on their mom. Not even like concrete evidence, the maybe about it.
Yeah,
And
they
then
heard
they're
that
like-
rumor from the servants, and it's like, oh shit.
I don't view that as a simple, silly reason. I completely appreciate why that would be traumatic for them.
I mean, I guess, like, I can see it as traumatic for them, but it's a completely irrational way to respond.
Children, they're not rational creatures.
Teenagers.
They're almost an
Teenagers,
adult.
they're not rational
Almost an
creatures.
I was gonna say that they were a teen when they found that part out.
Also,
In any case.
I just want to end this with saying, once again, Grow is a perfect cinnamon roll.
He is so perfect. I love him
And-
so much.
There is no one alive that cares for Soul more than Grow. And I
Except
keep-
Screwy.
I mean, maybe not Marcus, maybe Screwy. Yeah, but of all living characters in the setting, I can't think of anyone that cares more deeply for Soul than Grow.
And they listened to his advice.
And they're both out destroying worlds.
Well,
World.
Grow.
Singular,
Yeah, just why do you guys keep saying worlds?
just one,
For
For
now.
now, I mean, there'll be another one after that one, right?
maybe.
There was only one more world needed, guys.
Was
Oh,
there anyone more?
Yes.
Right? No.
Oh, okay.
It's just this
The
one.
more you know.
The one we went to is probably has a higher population than Adrian, because Ish specifically picked out the exact amount of each world, so that he didn't have to kill more people than he had to.
And that makes mass genocide
Okay.
totally okay and all the better. It's just one world full of
For
people.
the future.
I mean, you could look at it the same way
Okay,
that, like,
Thanos.
the Kinto Empire, right? I mean, there were wars of conquest fought to make a place that is now incredibly peaceful and
Yeah.
full of content
Fucking
people.
ass.
Oh, but when the
Does
hive
that-
does it,
Right?
There,
Does that
it's
justify?
fine.
And exactly, and the hive's the same way. So, like, I guess I just want to I want us to approach that moral quandary of like what is acceptable for a better future, right?
what is
Yeah,
the
what
is morally
lost to
acceptable?
morality?
Right.
What's the line? Killing for peace is like fucking for celibacy? I
What?
think is the line. Or you would make a desert and call it peace, I think is the other
Yeah, I
nice
mean
line.
that's sure. Yeah, you make a desert called peace, but in this
Herodotus.
case, you have a society that is very content and with their lot in life. They're all happy and doing what they want for the most part, and you have a well-functioning, just society, and it was built on the backs of a series of wars of conquest. Does that make it right? Does that make it good? Does that justify its existence? I don't know. I'm not here to answer those questions. I'm just here to pose the setting and let you all decide.
They are really fun to play in. It's nice to have those kinds of ethical stakes, not just, oh no, my character might die, but oh shit,
Mhm.
this is the world and we may affect it in a bad way or a good way. Also, it wasn't Herodotus, it was Tacitus, and now I feel bad and I'll be in the corner, but
Also,
Anyway.
I don't want to gloss over the fact that Levette didn't fucking tell us about
That's
Yes.
true.
the
Yeah.
Time constraint.
no, everything's fine.
everything's
Everything's fine.
fine.
God damn it!
Yeah, but I guess to go over the message, Siva said that the Deadlands have now reached the edge of
The Holy City. Yeah.
So,
Hurry.
yeah, Hartenshin is gone.
To be fair,
it's
Melly
straight
didn't
up
say
taken.
anything about it either. She's like,
Well,
yeah, people are
it
nervous.
hasn't.
Melly's
hasn't
more
hit-
down south.
Well, I mean, there's a temple in the Holy City,
True.
Melly. So this is where it's going to finally start affecting the hive proper.
Good.
So
Good.
we've we've not got much time to screw around.
Yeah, it's getting near the end. As
No
I
more
said,
riding
like,
giant
this is-
turtles.
What?
Sorry. No more wasting time riding giant turtles when we're on the clock.
I mean, I don't know how much actual time that wasted. So,
0. None.
but yeah, we're getting near the end. Like it's, the stakes are becoming real. So we're gonna see how much of Vil gets demolished, and as that happens, like that's going to affect Vil ongoing. Like so that nation is going to be kind of a shell of its former self, and
It'll never be the same.
No, it's never going to be the same. Like they're going, like if they survive at all, they're going to be in the process of rebuilding, and that's going to take generations.
What? But people are running away from it, aren't they? Or are people just staying there?
It's a mix.
Okay, because I know that Vera's already had the evac plan for the people that they can save from the Holy City, and also the hive itself in general.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, the RVs, the
But
mobile homes.
if there's anything this last 2.5, 3 years have taught me, it's that even in the face of something that is wholly, completely understood and well documented, there will still be a significant portion of people that will deny its existence
Oh, God.
and be stubborn to the point of suicide.
Oh God. Topical
Yeah.
and accurate.
Yeah, but it's basically taught me that there are going to be people who will be just entrenched in their beliefs to the point where they refuse to save their own lives. So yeah, there are plenty of people staying.
Okay.
Well, the Marcus needs more undead at his disposal.
Yeah.
Are we siding with Marcus now?
No, not at all.
Okay, cool.
That was me
Just check-
being facetious and snide.
But Vera also, in that moment of time-ish, before we left Shanghai, was to talk to Mellifera about the Chaos Seed, which I think was a really good way for you to kind of understand the seed a bit more as a character.
Oh no,
even
now
though-
I know it even less.
I was gonna say, I feel like Mellifera did not answer it very well.
No, because now I'm wondering if people are mind controlled, which I'm being told is not true. But now Vera doesn't know. So that was
Yeah.
great.
I liked playing devil's advocate and being like, maybe it's not a bad idea. I don't actually know if this is true balance like the Emperor wants. Because devil's advocate, fun times. I'm just very interested that it seemed like a lot of people were kind of jumping down Vera's throat about this, because she wasn't saying I want to do this. She was just like, what if we did this? Like, can we think about this?
Yeah, what a mistake that was, having
I feel
a
so
group
bad
conversation.
for Vera.
Because Vera literally started off with, I want you to hear me out. And it was just looking for feedback on it. And then as soon as she said it, just like, you're killing people!
Yeah,
Like, no.
I feel bad for Vera so much because people just obviously don't trust her. People are constantly mean to Vera. It feels like.
That's fair.
I mean, she is a
Why
mean
would we
person, too,
trust
but-
Vera at this point?
True.
Having seen what we saw in the Pentress Estates, why would there be an automatic assumption of trust, or that Vera is going to act
Because
in the best
Vera's
interest
been
of
the
everyone and not Vera or the Hive?
At least for Riz, Vera's been the only person who's completely told them the truth every time.
We went into the Pentress Estates blind because Vera hadn't told the
Didn't
truth.
tell a lie.
She
to
didn't
Riz.
tell us anything, but she didn't tell a lie. I'm fine with that.
In fact, I'm pretty sure Vera literally told you that she did the Pentress estate.
Yeah, she
To
did something
Kurla.
bad. Yeah. Well, to Kurla. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I told you I killed
yeah.
an entire village.
An
of
entire
people.
city.
Entire
Yeah.
city. Yeah.
Does the trust that having said that engender outweigh the distrust from having actually seen exactly what they're capable of? I mean, cool, I trust that you'll tell me the truth about all of this awful shit that you've done, which outweighs the distrust that's going to come from learning that you've done all the awful shit. I'm not following the logic there. I don't
So
see
you're
why
saying
anyone in the
that
party
people
would
can't
trust
change?
Vera at this point.
Well, I'm not saying people should trust Vera. I'm just saying that Vera literally was just saying, "Hey, I want feedback," and then all of a sudden is just like, "Oh, you're doing it."
People like immediately assume that she's just gonna do it willy-nilly without talking to people when she literally brought it up to the team. So it's very interesting that people are just ready to jump on her, it seems.
Well, it's definitely negative reinforcement.
It's very much so. And it's interesting because Vera is the youngest in the party, and I don't think she deserves
I mean,
to-
she's like 26 in terms of
Which-
human age.
in terms of
She's an
human
adult.
age, but I still feel like a child as a 20-year-old. So fuck off, a 20-something-year-old. So I still feel like a child. I still feel like sometimes I need someone to guide me. Thanks, Beardy.
What?
This is your job now.
Oh shit.
This has been your job for years. 3
Oh,
years
God damn
exactly. Thanks, Daddy.
I mean, I
Aw.
see it as just the natural character dynamics of where everyone is with everyone else at this point. Yeah, I think there is a lack of trust and good faith,
I guess
especially after the last episode where Vera wouldn't commit to not acting unilaterally.
What?
I mean she
Especially
looks.
after the last episode when Vera wouldn't commit to not acting unilaterally.
Please go, Xeno.
Oh no, I was gonna say, Vera did say that she would tell people about it. Although, I am wondering if this conversation is now kind of sullied that thought like maybe she shouldn't tell people about shit.
Yeah. Like, god damn. Like, I don't remember Vera being like, I'm just gonna go do things.
Oh no, Vera said last session that if she needs to do something, she'll do it. She did say that. She said she can't promise. I think that's what it was. She can't promise that she can't do something.
Well, I mean, like, any of us would have to be that way, I'd assume. I don't think anyone cannot act upon something if they deem it necessary. That's just a mortal condition. But to the very least, even though Riz can't be around insects, and they're not happy that you're a terrorist, they also, their hands aren't clean either, and you're literally the only one who will talk to them straight. So
When has Kurla not talked to Riz straight?
Riz is very sensitive about Kurla.
Yeah, clearly.
I mean, a lot of it comes to roots of Riz was a very genuine person with Kurla, but like when they didn't apologize for something they didn't feel bad about, that was a big deal. So Riz doesn't always know how to talk to Kurla because there's still that underlying like, I don't know if you actually want the truth. So that's always gonna kind of be there. But I mean, Vera has always been very straightforward with Riz, and in another aspect, they're very religious. There is a respect for that. You are Kurla. No, I keep wanting to say Xeno. Vera is very much so a holy person and very devout. And even if it is a primal god, you have yet to show that it's super negative. And Riz can't really say much because obviously they don't worship just the good gods. They worship all the gods. And there are evil gods they worship. And they do some shitty stuff. So they're like, yeah, I understand. It makes sense. There's a lot of respect there.
Well, in any case, the conversation wraps up without a whole lot being decided, except that we need more information.
It was
Yeah.
awful.
That we're hopefully going to
It
get.
was fucking awful. Like, I was just sitting there like, we're just arguing at this point in circles. This isn't helping anything. It was
Now, is that frustration coming from you as a player or from Riz as a character?
as a producer. I was just like, this is terrible. I was like, oh no, this isn't going anywhere.
Well, it's just that we literally don't know what the answer is.
We don't know the answer
We
yet.
have
so
no idea what we actually need.
When this is all done, you can ask me about the chaos seed.
Oh, that'll help. That'll help later.
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But on the road, I got a chance, Riz got a chance to talk to Jiro about his conversation with the Emperor. And I wasn't even sure if he was going to be allowed to tell Riz. I was like, oh god, this is going to be shitty as fuck, but I have to ask. They have to ask because then it'd be just hanging over them for a long time. Awkwardly. She's like, is today the last day? Is today the last day? I don't know. So we got to talk about that, and Jiro spoke about how he was pretty much pardoned on all accounts, which I believe means he can talk if he felt like it after our journey's done. If he chose to. But pretty much said he wanted to be with Riz after all this, and it was very wholesome and sweet. Thank you.
So there might be a happy ending there after
No.
all. Or it
No.
might be even worse and
Absolutely
Jiro might die.
It's gonna go
horrifically.
really bad, I'm pretty sure.
Remember, both of these characters would have to survive for
Yeah.
that to be the
Yep.
case.
You raised my hopes and dashed them quite expertly. Kudos.
That's how we do.
Look, I have time while I'm playing the character, and I'm happy and grateful for that. Whatever happens in the end will be tragic, probably, but I'll be grateful for the experience I had.
I'm a fan of tragedy.
What? You a fan of tragedy?
I know.
That
true.
doesn't sound right at all.
Doesn't sound right.
Well,
So
there's tragedy in store, but there's also, horses in store. So that's
Yes.
a plus point
I
for
am
Kenny
so
as a player.
It's true. A lot of meat available.
I
Mhm.
imagine that does taste good if
Probs.
if they eat the horses too.
they also have that really awesome horse milk, fermented horse milk alcohol.
Gross. That sounds terrible.
Oh, it's
Looking
it's
forward to that.
something.
That's a thing.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
well, I'll try it as a horse.
No, I won't try
Have
that
you
one.
had it, Beardy? I'm curious now.
Personally, no. Oh
Okay.
God, no. No.
You've heard
I'm
about
not
it.
that adventurous.
I'd rather not eat or drink something that's rotten. Well,
Yeah.
no, I'd rather not eat something meat related or
Fermented
something from an
horse
animal that's
milk,
rotten.
Yeah, let's see.
How about that?
Mongolia.
Fruit, whatever. Yeah, that's fine.
Irag.
Alcohol,
Irag.
Poison.
Horse milk alcohol.
Discover Mongolia. What is Irag?
Why
Irag.
not?
Yeah.
I want to
Check
try
point.
it. Where
Let's try.
to find Irag in the US?
Order it today with
Oh,
your
Mongolian store. Yep.
Eggo eggnog.
The taste is sour, but it's apparently good for digestion. Just what alcohol content are we talking here? Is this like kombucha or?
So the other thing is, kumis. Not sure which
Kumis?
is. Yeah, fermented, unpasteurized mare's milk for several days, while stirring and churning.
I'm totally down for trying this.
I would try it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I hope
Yeah,
I do.
maybe.
Kenny.
It could be interesting.
The milk
Not
or
sure
not?
worst place to
that's- Kumis might. I'm not sure that. Yeah, I don't know if that might be Spanish. Let me see the Wikipedia on that because I want to make sure I get the right one.
Yes. So we did get to Horsetown though.
We did get to Horsetown, and it was super cool. And I love horses, and it's super exciting to be around horses. And I was actually wondering if it was like a horse nation that had centaurs, because I was like, are we having centaur, Horsetown, town, horses? I was so fucking
It's the
excited.
only way to get more horses per horse,
Yeah, I
right?
know. I was so happy to be there. We've mostly only really come across humans though in Kintao. We haven't really gotten much
Kintao
descriptors of like the
has-
diversity of it.
Yeah, it's been fairly human-centric. One of the only beings you've met so far that was not human was the person that gave you the Chaos Seed, and also the dragons. Everything else
True.
has been pretty human-centric, to the point where it's almost a little odd that
Okay.
it's only humans.
It's very
Racial
interesting.
cleansing.
Because in contrast, Daraham has like so many races there that are just constantly going in and out of it.
Yeah, so it's a melting pot nation,
Yeah.
kind of. At least part of it is.
Melting pot. Sorry, you made me hungry.
seeing the town name, I actually, for a moment, thought that we were going to stumble upon some half-orcs. It just seemed like a very half-orcish name, but no, humans and lots of horses, which was
I'm
cool.
curious of the history of that name, but I'm sure we'll get into that more so in the future. But we do arrive there. It's super cool. And we find some cloaked individuals who,
Have heard that we're coming.
well,
Yeah, they're like, hey.
I was
What's
ready
up?
to show the seal. I don't remember if I did, but I was going to. I was like, look, we can be here. It's okay.
We
Oh,
didn't
that's right, we hadn't
mention the
mentioned the
seal,
seal
did
yet.
we?
No,
we
I haven't
didn't talk
mentioned that.
about the
The joke seal. No.
We are traveling
Arr.
under the aegis of the emperor, under the auspices of the not auspices.
Yeah.
The,
And you learn that the Emperor has kind of a weird sense of
Imprimatur.
humor.
good for him on that. If you're gonna have a seal, it should be a seal.
I liked it.
I
Makes me
loved it.
think Selkies are here somehow, but I guess it was just a joke. Oh well, I can dream.
Was that planned, or was that just off the
Off the
wordplay that
cuff?
occurred?
Beardy.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh.
The
Was that-
seal joke, was that a planned pun,
Oh.
or was that just off the wordplay that occurred? In
No,
the
no,
moment?
it was planned.
Okay.
The seal was meant to be a jade seal.
You knew I'd make this joke, didn't you?
I was hoping I could be able to get that out before people could make it a joke.
Oh,
You jumped on it, and that's fine.
I'm really good at jumping on things. Anyways.
Oh, jeez.
So we see these 5 individuals, and they've heard that we can talk to gods, but they were very specifically talking to Riz.
Yeah, they're like, hey, would you be the person that can talk to gods?
Shit.
To be fair, there's only one person here that can. Actually, no. I guess Betravian can talk to gods.
He can talk to Malifera, and
Exactly.
if he tried harder, he could probably understand Eden.
Oh, that's true. I guess you don't really talk to Eden. You don't know. You talk to Eden.
Well,
You just don't get much
I
back.
talk to her, and she gives me
In
an
fairness,
answer in a different way.
Levette talks to Voska these days.
Just
That's
one
true.
god though. So I guess
But
it's.
God's plural, yeah, is
Oh no, I guess.
And Kurla
Kurla-
talks to that which hungers, yeah.
And
not a god.
talk to Voluna though too.
That's true.
So
you did
only-
have a conversation with Valuna.
So only Levette and Vera only talk to one god.
I'm not going to call that which hungers a god. It's just a thing. Ugh. Ugh.
Elder being.
Ugh. Nasty little fucking spider
Remind me
bitch.
to have Betravian make a perception check at the beginning of the next session.
Okay,
dear.
I will
For,
try.
for how many weeks is
dear.
that going to be?
Two.
in the
Yeah,
future?
because next week is actually our Halloween special.
And are
This
we
is why you
gone
don't
after that one?
just
We will be gone a week after that.
Oh, then it's going to be 3 weeks. Okay.
Yes.
don't
Right.
just stick your hand in the ground without putting some protection on it. That's damn it,
Wear a
Betravian. You
glove.
should have been wearing your gauntlets. Anyway, yeah, they are very curious to speak with the person who can speak with the gods in the plural, which is going to be Riz. So is this the beginning of the unfolding of the last chapter of Riz's backstory?
Doubtful.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was going to bring that up earlier, but I wonder if we're going to get more information once you go to the mountain.
I guess I could ask questions about myself. I guess I just don't like Riz doesn't think about it that way because they think there's more pressing matters.
Well, the question is it going to be something that we have agency over about what we receive? I don't know.
That's true.
Well, we don't know what we're going to be
Yeah.
seeing here.
You have to make the trek up the mountain and find out. Go journey to the top of the mountain and ask your questions.
Yeah, you'd be
I'm
like, how do I win the
interested-
game?
I'm interested to see the mountain.
How to win D&D.
That's not a thing.
How do I min-max my swarm monger once I'm already level 17?
Yeah.
I'm wondering how perilous this journey into the mountains is going to be.
We
I
shall
wonder
see.
if it is just going to be a straight trek, or whether or not we're going to encounter some difficulties along the road.
I'm excited
shall see.
for these metallic people. Metallic cloaked
Yes,
people.
the metallic cloak. What could they want?
Was there
Who could
We'll
they
find
be?
out.
any sort of insignia on them or anything? May I ask?
The cloaks were covering them, but maybe next time when you talk to them, it'll be revealed.
Cool.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you already know who
Oh,
these
I
people
already
are.
know.
Yeah, you dropped a word in after the episode ended recording.
You did.
But
I don't want that to be said just yet.
yes, that's
not
why I
in,
didn't
not
say
in
it.
any public consumption.
That's
No.
why I didn't say it.
So
I don't even know why Beardy said it to begin with. I was like, you bitch. Should have kept that to yourself.
We will find out what is going on with these people in their metallic cloaks and why they need to speak with a god or gods in 3 weeks.
Yeah, in 3 weeks.
Indeed.
So, thank you everyone for joining us for Checkpoint. We look forward to hosting the Halloween special next weekend. I hope you're ready for some weird shit to happen, I guess.
Bring candy.
Bring candy. Thank you all so much. We hope you roll with us next time. And we'll see you later. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Boy.
Bye.
Bye.